All right, try that again. Tint Wizdom. I'm really excited about today. We have Chris Collier from Window Film Magazine joining, and we also have Carlos, the Texas Squeegee, and we will be going over the WFCT event that just passed about 11 days ago in San Antonio. We have some videos, some pictures queued up, some behind the scene footage that we're going to be going through. And the idea is we're just going to all share our experience. I got to meet Chris for the first time. I didn't get to speak to him too much. So I'm interested in getting his insight to the event from, his perspective and so on, because the way the event went down, it went very quickly. So I really experienced it only from my own perspective. I mean, as such, everybody does, but within the Tint Wiz booth, I didn't really make it far from it for much time. So I'm excited to have Chris joining us. And then, of course, Carlos, the Texas Squeegee. He played a major part in our booth, the Tint Wiz booth at the WFCT. He was the host of Wiz Games. He was the host of Wiz Pong and Wiz Max, which we have some clips of and we'll be going over. And yeah, they'll be joining us throughout. And speaking of, so let's get started. We have a little compilation clip. So today we have a lot of, like I said, videos and pictures queued up. So let's start off with a video that we put together that's just a compilation of little clips throughout the event. It's about a 2-minute long video, and we'll go from there. So here it is.
It's 261 inches.
$8,500 in between six.
It's like a little over 1,000.
Can we do that?
Let me get a bill scanner real quick.
Could have took it, man. That's the tip math. Yeah, there you go.
While we were preparing to do a last round, they actually came together, and in a true fashion of unity, they decided to split all the prizes combined amongst the 6. So all 6 Wiz Maxes will go home a cash prize winner tonight. And here we go.
Go ahead and give it a first shot. We got one right here. You get one ball and one tank. You take that tank home.
Did I make that?
Yeah. See, first shot.
Have you ever had practice with this before? You're a little too young for Wiz Pong, aren't you? He said no. Well, congratulations. This guy's a quick picture.
Get it, man. Let's go. Go. Let's go, bro. Let's go.
What do you to do with this one?
Spray some water, lay some film.
Spray some water, lay some film, exactly. Get in there!
You got that.
He's the big winner from yesterday.
Yeah.
He's coming out and winner 2 times in a row.
Nice job.
The undisputed winner, absolutely. Got it. Off, and unfortunately did not go in. However, he gets
Did you just win? I just won my friend. It only took
Jorge
me 6
Meza.
times. 6 times.
Did 8 times.
Dude.
6 tries, finally wins the lone tank. The official Wiz Games booth Wiz Pong is officially over with Jorge Meza taking the final tank home. Congratulations to everybody who played and who took a tank home.
So that's the first time I actually saw that clip. It got queued up at start time. So yeah, I mean, it put a smile on my face because just reliving that, especially now that it's done, just seeing it, like you can't help but, maybe you can, but who knows? So yeah, that was the event. I mean, it was a a lot of smiles, a lot of great interactions, and it just went too quick. So let's kind of rewind and let's see. Let's actually go to the comments. No, let's go back to the content and let's rewind. And right here, this is right when we were like, it was Tuesday at noon. Marcello walked in from Ventralite. He handed me that. He said, take a picture. So the space behind us was the concrete that we were planning on setting up in. So that was a really pivotal. I mean, just like, you know, it's that start. And when I saw him post that picture, it just brought me instantly back to that moment where everything was unknown. So as a displaying, like having a booth, you get 6 hours that Tuesday to set it up. And, you know, it's kind of high stress, at least in my mind, because you have to finish within that time. You have a little bit of time the next day, but you got to get everything in. You've got to get it set up. And the convention center has rules and, you know, you got to get around all that. And sometimes there's confusion and there's security guards. So that's a very high stress moment. So kind of moving on from there, we have the floor. Now the floor was laid down by Sean Martinez out of San Antonio. So he has a local shop there in San Antonio. The shop's called Vantage Vinyl Wraps. And you can see Sean in the background there on the left. And at this point, he was obviously just laying the floor down. Now, Sean was one of those people to work with where I questioned, it was so easy. I questioned if he was like real, because from when I contacted him and I sent him the, you know, I said, look, are you able to do this floor wrap? It's between this day, this time. I gave him like a 1 hour window, 2 hour window, because, you know, he can't take up the whole time. We have to put everything on top of the floor. And he said, no problem. The price was extremely competitive. The time came to a week before. He said, no problem. I have it on my schedule. The day of, he was there early with the material ready to go. He laid it down. He brought his assistant. They knocked it out in about an hour. And it was flawless. Like the floor just went perfectly. And I can't thank him enough because, you know, there's not really like a plan B for vinyl floor, whether you mess the material up on installation, maybe you printed it wrong, you labeled it wrong, you realize after you stick it. I mean, you know, it's nice when it goes right, and it went perfectly. So thank you, Sean. And this is what we ended up with. So this was the booth. You can see, obviously, the cars, the lights weren't on. We had the Wiz Games light on. And kind of getting back to that center part there, I don't think I can zoom in, but where you see the Rice Krispie treats, those were put up by Marcello. So I wanted to thank him. So after he set up his booth, he came to see what was up and if he could help us from Ventralite. And I said, you know, we have a lot of colorful, like, candy Rice Krispie treats to stack, and I can't think of anybody with a better artistic eye that was willing to help than Marcello. So he actually set that up, and super appreciative Marcello, because it took a while, and he did get help. It wasn't just him, but he had the eye to how everything would be laid out, which I think is very important. So moving on to the day of, we have Ty and Dom from Galactic Shades and Tint, and they were at the Window Film Pros booth handing out the shirts for a good portion of the day, and others actually helped as well. But you can see that's the day of. That's right next to our booth, in between Future View, Cool Views booth, and so on. And another shot there, you can see the Cali Bros grabbing their shirt, and they were obviously like very instrumental in setting up and breaking down. I'm definitely going to do my best to mention everybody who helped, but I probably should start by saying, you know, the first year we had a booth was in Orlando, and from when we arrived, we just had people pitching in to help set up the booth. It was Patrick Latman. I remember Jody Knight came over, Chris Queen, full effect. We missed Chris Queen this year at San Antonio, but it was just hands-on, everybody helping, and this year was no different. Cody Becker was there from the very moment, just running stuff back and forward. And I mean, everybody, we'll run through everybody, but I just kind of want to give a blank and thank you, because there was just always help. And, you know, that I know, obviously, not only does it take pressure off of the setup and so on and running things, but it makes for a better event, right? So like everybody pitching in, Sheriff Tintwright obviously played a crucial role. We'll see his his roles, all the Tint Wiz ladies, and everybody who came over to the booth in some way or another played a role, whether it was playing along, whether it was networking with somebody else that was at the booth, or it was hands-on helping with setup. Like, I can't thank everybody enough. So rolling through these pictures, this was right when we were about to start Wiz Max game. So Wiz Max was a game that involved a Tint Wiz tape measure and called the Wiz Max. And the game was the second day of the event. So the first day was kind of, gave away a lot of giveaway bags and so on. And this, you saw that in the video. And the second day was Wiz Max. That was the main attraction. And you can see there we had quite a crowd building up. And I was just kind of going over some final things with Carlos while people were practicing. Now, a funny moment that happened right about that time, maybe a minute before, a minute after, was David turned to me and he said, "Hey, can you explain what's going on here?" And I said, "Sure. It's called Wiz Max." And I turned to my left thinking that I was going to be speaking to a tinter to explain the game. I was speaking to the Fire Marshal because the Fire Marshal had come over and he wanted an explanation of why there was such a crowd going on, and he wanted a clear understanding of what we had planned to make sure there was no safety concerns. So we ran the game by him. No problems at all. Went perfect. It was obviously like a funny moment to turn and see the Fire Marshal and wonder what would be the next step if the fire, if there was an issue with the crowd. Thankfully, there wasn't, and we went on to play. So what you saw in that picture was people practicing, and then you can see some more practicing. There's Harry Ramon from Expel. There's Cody Becker. And Autofilm Mastery was another booth right on the other side of us. And, everybody, I feel like everybody there had a fun time, whether they were competing, whether they were practicing, or whether you were just watching, because it was, every time somebody would get kind of high up there, there was this level of like heart-stopping anticipation because, you didn't know who was going to be the winner or winners. We had a live scoreboard, so that was updated. You could see the names. And the way it progressed, I want to see if I can cue up this video real quick. Okay, so you could hear Chamal in the background. Chamal, I want to say thank you, of course. Always great seeing you and hanging out, but thanks for your help as well. And the light you shine, because you always put a smile on my face. You just did it just hearing you in the background of that video. And you could see Kenny there, and he was rubbing his Wiz Max, and that was actually his strategy. I'll play that compilation video again in a little bit, but he was actually rubbing it right before the finals, right before we'll get there. But that was a strategy. He was the first one. Okay, so he was the first one to really break out. Like, we obviously had a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, but then he kind of broke out with this big number. It was like 230, 232. And it started going from there. So he was kind of the big number, and then someone would break that number. And it was just like every time somebody came to a high point, somebody else would top it. And it really built for this anticipation. And then one of the things you saw in the compilation video was, okay, well, it was basically how it turned out. So what happened was we ended up with 6 people who did a full Wiz Max. And here we can see Sheriff Tintright playing along. And we can also see some of the crowd that was also, forming around to watch. You can see Austin Cook and Michaela and, obviously everybody else. But they stand out with their very legitimately proper branded Tinstitute. They were doing a demo wrap right by the entrance. Anybody there couldn't have missed them. But the way the Wiz Max worked out was, it was whoever could go the highest would win $5,000 cash. Second place was $2,500, and third place was $1,000 in cash. And the way it worked out was 6 people actually fully maxed out their Wiz Max. So they reached the 300 inches, And then we counted it as 304 inches as the official Wiz Max measurement because there was a little space after the lines cut off. So we had 6 people. Now, let me tell you what happened with that. So 6 people, up until this point, it was very tense, right? Everybody wants to win the money. It was obviously such a chunk of money and everybody could use it. And you'd see the tension, like, you know, and really trying to keep playing and people kept playing. And you just, what I wanted was everybody to feel the game was fair, everybody to feel like, you know, who won should have won, and people to walk away feeling entertained and hopefully some victorious, but everybody happy. And it's tense because you're giving away a cash prize, right? And we're playing Wiz Max for the first time ever. So we have 6 people who do a full Wiz Max. Now, halfway through, I started recording every single entry. So in case there was any like controversy over how high it went, or did you extend your Wiz Max after the snap, you know, we have it on video. So that just to give you a little insight to the level of suspense and tension that was building at this game. Now, there's 6 people who were fully equal, Wiz maxed out, and we said, okay, we'll do a Wiz Max off and we'll see who the top 3 are going to be. So we say, hang on, we're going to reconvene in a couple minutes. All the competitors could go choose their Wiz Max of choice, because you figure ones that have snapped multiple times up to this point may not be as rigid as ones that are brand new. So we want to give them fair time so they get whatever Wiz Max they want to use to compete. Now, during that time, Sheriff Tintwright, officer of the law, Tint Wiz County, here he is, approaches me and says, I have an idea. He says, why don't we just split all the prize money across all 6 winners? And I said, I don't think so. I think that's not a good idea because, I mean, I want, you know, I want it to go however it goes. But I don't want to tell these people who are expecting a certain set of rules, who just spent 2 hours competing, somebody expecting to walk away feeling that they are the Wiz Max champ and they deserve $5,000, to walk away being told that they're splitting the money because we decided that the rules are going to change. Now, he said, I think that he thinks it's a great idea. I said, I can't be the one. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. You know, this is a lot of high energy was happening at this point. So we move on. A couple minutes pass. At this point, the competitors, the 6 Wiz Max finalists, are in a little group, like fucking high-fiving each other, like dapping it up, hugging each other, congratulating each other. I don't remember which one of them, might be on that compilation video, turns to me and says, hey, Eric, we all talked about it. And what if we could just split all the money amongst us 6 winners and we don't do a final challenge? And I look over at Sheriff Tintwright, who is nowhere near them. It wasn't his, like, it was his idea, but he was not like talking to them. He, as far as I know, he was on the other side. I looked over to him and I was just like, wow, that's perfect. Like I said, of course. Actually, what I did was I turned to each competitor individually. I said, is that what you want to do? And I tried to read their face. I want to make sure there's no pressure. And what I saw was 6 genuinely happy, authentic yeses. They loved it. And what started as like competitive tension because everybody wanted to win turned into 6 happy people that were splitting the money. And truly, like, I mean, you couldn't have written a better ending. I couldn't have wished for a better ending. What you don't want to happen is anybody to feel upset, right? You don't want anybody to feel cheated. You don't want anybody to feel anything other than happy. And those are the little risks you take. Now, I felt it was worth it. I felt the Tint Wiz community wasn't going to be upset with whatever, however we handle it. You never know. But to see it happen this way, it just, I think, I can only think that Sheriff Tintwright put it out there with his positive vibes and the love that he always shines with, and it entered the competitors' minds, or maybe they manifest. I don't know, but I thank you all for just being the greatest contestants. I thank you for everybody just being so supportive of the game and of each other and the camaraderie, because that's what makes it fun, right? And here are 2 of the winners. So 6 people walked away with $1,400 each in cash from the Wiz Max game. So I can't thank everybody enough. from the crowd that formed and didn't riot and just had fun to all the competitors. It was just so much suspense and so much fun. And I can put that up again, but that smile is like, holy crap, that was a good freaking time. And I was just happy that everybody was happy. And then we moved to Wiz Pong. So the next day was Wiz Pong. Now the concept behind Wiz Pong was we had about 35 kegs. They came from Rick McIntyre at Tint Keg. They came from Jeff Welch at Tint Hozilla. And they came from Bruce and Jackson at True Spray. And we just, we set them up in 2 lines, okay? And I might have a video queued up. Let's see. I do not of that specific picture, but we set them up in 2 areas. So there'd be 2 lines. And basically the concept was we set a sticker on the ground, a Wiz Max sticker. You had to have 1 foot on the sticker. You could stretch out as far as you could reach. And you threw up a Wiz Pong ball, purple Wiz Pong ball. If it landed in a keg, you won that keg. The keg came out. So, the sooner you played, the more chances you had to win, the easier it was that one would bounce in. And obviously, as the kegs left the game, you had less chances to win. So that was Wiz Pong. And as you can see, that was the line, and that was the 3rd day. Now, it's another angle of the line for playing Wiz Max. Now, look, the idea behind the line wasn't to have a line, right? Like, you don't want a line. You want the game to move. You want people to be interacting. Nobody wants to be on a line. But I feel the byproduct of the line was people were engaged. They wanted to be there, and they wanted to play, and they were having fun. And on the 3rd day of an event at a conference, that was important to me. And it made me really happy to see that on the 3rd day, it was not all like, what are we going to do? And it was, we're playing Wiz Pong is what we're doing. So here's some winners. So these were the two offspring of one of the tinters that was attending the event. And what really was awesome hearing him say how this was kind of like the kickstart to their career in the industry. And they were both really excited to win. You saw the little interview that Carlos did with all the winners, but with that gentleman right there, and the practice he had. Actually, I think it was another young man. And that was another fun thing about Wiz Pong was it wasn't like all men, it wasn't all women, it wasn't all adults. It was a mixture of like kids, women, men, tinters, non-tinters. Like everybody was playing Wiz Pong, and I thought that was, I enjoy that because you just want everybody engaged. Like that's always the idea is like, have as little separation as possible so that we can all get to know each other and hang out. That's another byproduct of that. Everybody getting together in one area is you start to talk to who's next to you. You start to be in a conversation with someone you know and someone you don't know. And that's that introduction, right? That's that bridge. It's tough to straight cold meet somebody, but once somebody knows you know somebody from them, or you're stuck kind of next to somebody, stuck in a good way, it's a lot easier to bridge that gap and meet people. And, as you're about to see, that was a big part of it. Here's Cody Becker and Tony Kiger. Tony Kiger, an Autobahn rep. Cody Becker, a Expel dealer out of Delaware. All around great, wonderful guy. Killer in automotive and flat glass. He's a Tint Wiz coach. He's a nonstop hustler. I mean, he was making runs to help set up the booth and Cody, thank you. There's Cody again, having a good time. And he's actually wearing Marcos's glasses. So at some point he got Marco, the film trainer's glasses, and you can just see he's having a good time. Authentically good time. I think we can see it here on Jordan and Jessica's face. I selected this picture. I included this picture because this was Jordan's first WFCT. I believe it was maybe his 3rd window film event in the industry. And you can see that Jessica's with him. And like, I feel more and more we're seeing families coming along and enjoying the event, whether it be spouses or kids. And I think that's important too, because when you're deciding are you going to make it to the WFCT next year? Or are you going to make it to Tinter Battles? Or are you going to make it to any, to SEMA or any other industry event? When you can include your family, it's nice. And I'm not saying you have to. It's also nice, I'm sure in some instances, the separation lets you focus on work in your industry and so on. But the option is nice. Being able to enjoy that with your partner, I think, is a great thing. Expose them to what you're exposed, expose them to your interests, so that, you can have those conversations. And when you say, what's happening or what's exciting, whether it be at the event or throughout the year, it's things that people can relate to, and I personally like that. I heard a saying, it was sometime when I was a little bit after college, and I don't remember who told me or where I heard it, but it stuck with me. And what it was, I've always looked at you have your business and then your business life, right? Your work life, your career, what you do to earn a living. And then you have your family. And sometimes those things cross over, but sometimes they don't. But a way that the crossover was described to me is, it's important to celebrate with your family. Like, celebrate your work successes with your family. At least celebrate. Doesn't mean you have to celebrate everybody mushed together, but include them in those victories. So your work victories are their work victories. And I feel like an event like the WFCT is a success. It's a victory, because attending it is kind of a celebration. It's a celebration of the event, of the industry, and all we've come together, and then all the people that, come together to put it together. It's a celebration. I mean, there's definitely education and so on, but I think the word celebration as an overview of what the industry is a fair way to describe it. We'll go through a couple more pictures, and then I'm going to see if I can connect with Houston, or if Houston will have a problem. We'll see if the Texas Squeegee is available. And you never know how that's going to go. So, more love. We have Johnny Blades and Jordan. It's Jordan and myself. Now, Jordan, maybe Jordan, I hope you're I can jump in the comments. Jordan mentioned in this picture, you mentioned, I'm sorry, when he sent this picture, because I did get this picture from him, how you can see how the image is focused on Mitchell Goldman, also known as Nipsey. And Jordan, I think it would be best if you put it into words so I don't slaughter it, why this picture meant so much to you, and why you chose to include it, even though one could say it's out of focus. I believe the way you described it was it's actually in focus. Christian Tinters for Life meetup. This was super nice. Jordan sent it, and I'm super honored that I was recipient of an award in that group meetup. I was just, very humbling to receive an award that it was an impact award, and just to feel the appreciation. Not that there's any shortage of appreciation felt on my part from everybody. As an industry, I couldn't thank everybody enough, because the amount of support is unbelievably overwhelming. I love every second of it. But it still feels extra nice to get an award like this and to hear the kind words, and it really just meant a lot. So thank you, Jody Knight, and the whole group that put this award together. Jimmy Nance, I know Jason Omoleski was involved, Letha was there, Cadence, and I mean, everybody, Cato, everybody that came to support, like Carla, I mean, everybody that was there. I definitely can go, I won't stop mentioning names, so I don't want to cut anybody out, but I don't want to, mention everybody all at once, though I could. And we have Brian, Cheryl, and Cody. Obviously, that picture says a lot. It was a kissing booth that Core had set up as their display at No, it's not a kissing booth, but it kind of reminded me when Cody sent the picture. I was like, it looks like it's a Core kissing booth. But really, what it shows is you have an Expel dealer there with another Expel dealer right in front of. Just shows a lot of love. It just shows a lot of love. All right, we're almost wrapping it up. We have a couple pictures to go. This is the final dinner. So this was the award ceremony. This was all the finalists of the automotive competition up on stage, about to receive the news as to who's going to be the final three. And then we have the winners. So this is actually, these are the winners of the event. And congratulations to every one of them. Everybody who's attended the event, whether you've competed or not, you know that it is no easy feat to come out victorious in a competition like the WFCT. So, you know, congratulations to everybody who competed, because competing alone, it's look, you know, you could say there's like people say like participation is whatever, and like, you know, it's about the top 3 or the winners or whatever. Here's the thing, at the WFCT, it's different because you're amongst your peers. You're in this very transparent environment. You have proctors watching over you. You have your friends, family, and competitors feet away from you watching. And if you're near the Tint Wiz booth, you have a violinist playing on top of them. And Jimmy Nance mentioned that while he enjoyed the violinist, he says it calmed his nerves and caused him to not finish his window. So, you know, it's definitely a thing. So WFCT competition's no easy feat, and every single person who competes at it should walk away feeling like that was a victory for competing. And if you happen to bring home the cash and a trophy, well, that's obviously monumental, and congratulations to everybody. We have a little picture we took after. This was just nobody in, it was everybody and nobody specific. So from the left, we have Tony South, we have Cody Becker, we have Cato, we have Black Glass Joe, we have, I think that's Carlos, or it's the reporting Squeegee. Then we have myself, we have Dennis McMillan from Inner West, and then we have David Serro on the right. So that was left to right. And that was some people from our table, some people not from our table. It was just one of the many pictures we took and was sent over. And that's not it, but we could try to see if I can connect with Houston and see if we can get Carlos in here, or let me see. Click. Hang on one second, everyone. I just got to make a couple clicks. It's kind of some static or something. Oh, no. Carlos? Hello?
Yes, Eric. Do we have sound on the Wiz 3 TV studios? Do we have sound coming over across the other side? Can you hear me? Can you hear what I'm saying? Is there wind? Is this Hurricane Ian coming down to Houston, Texas?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, so there we go. Hopefully we don't have things caving in. You know, we have Hurricane Ian working its way up the Florida, just like we are working our way into the next section of this conversation. You know, as a matter of fact, now that we have officially joined here on the Tint Wizdom, I would like to crack a toast to all of our bougie tinters out there with a drink of our own. Cheers up, fellas.
Cheers, but you should be drinking out of the Wiz coffee cup that was given out at the competition.
Well, Mr. D-Vash, who do you think you're talking to? You're talking to the most tintifying figure, the glass tinting films like a tinter how really trailblazing the most tintifying figure of all time. What would it be drinking a bougie coffee without the cup to go with it? The official Tinter Battles cup, brought to you by Tintertainment.
Okay, so I actually didn't mention, but I should have mentioned that at some point during this live stream, we will be premiering the official promo video of Tinter Battles 2023. Can you confirm that?
The reporting Squeegee, blended with the most tintifying Squeegee of all time, has officially confirmed that before the night is over, people will get tintified.
You sure you have the video queued up and ready to go?
Listen, you know what, Mr. Devash? I knew when I received the Tint invitation to come be part of this little special edition Tint Wizdom that I was going to be smelling a couple of fishy things. So the Texas Squeegee prepared himself with an official Harvest Spice cider candle for all of your nonsense you're about to spew on the Texas Squeegee. How's that?
So, do you get paid for these product placements, or like where did you get the candle from?
Listen, you don't worry about where the Texas Squeegee is making his revenues. You just know that they are diversified and they are tintified.
Okay.
Thanks to, in part, by the Tint Wiz app.
It feels like you're getting famous or something. Like, and not that you haven't been famous. So you definitely had your 15 moments of fame during Tinter Battles 1 and Tinter Battles 2, but it feels like now you're on like some sort of like book tour or like some sort of like next level fame with the candles and the product placements. And
listen, I don't know where you got your little 15 moments of fame. In fact, Eric, it was a lot more than 15. We're talking about tens of millions upon millions of Texas Squeegee maniacs watching upon the most tintifying figure come to fruition. And that's what you get with the Texas Squeegee, the most entertaining figure of all time. Listen, I want to say something. The Tinter Battles 2022 competitors were lucky that the Texas Squeegee was not in that competition, because everybody knows it would not be Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran taking home the titles. It would be a new entertaining champion known as the Texas Squeegee, so that I can add it to my collection.
okay. So should probably mention that, well, should probably mention that there was a little time mix-up. And
well, in fact, there was. See, we were operating on multiple time zones because we were very excited and full of tintifying energy. That,
hold on, why don't you be honest and tell them what happened?
What do you mean? Well, wait a minute, hold on. Now, who the hell do you think you are calling the Texas Squeegee a liar?
I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just saying, why don't you just say what happened? You were in a different time zone during your book tour, and you got your time zones confused because you're not used to flying around and being so famous.
Listen, like, my secretaries did not speak to each other. We had one of my secretaries down in Guatemala was booking me for a tour down in Argentina and into Colombia, and then that one didn't communicate with the North American representative, so like the time zones were a little bit off, which caused the Texas to jump on a jet and get here, and unfortunately didn't get here in time. But now the show is here. Eric, I know what you're saying. I'm basically rescuing you, so there you go. That was the truth. How's that?
Okay, well, how about this? How about this? Why don't you rescue me with some information? Because what people actually want to know is, how can they, I mean, based on these comments, there's a couple questions. They want to know, will the Texas Tint Master, or will the fake, okay, the Texas fake Tint Master, that's you, be competing at Tinter Battles 2023? So you're the Texas fake Tint Master, that's you, that's according to Lawrence. And the question is, will Texas fake Tint Master be competing at Tinter Battles 23? But so let's start there. Do you know the answer to that?
Let me say something to address Lauren Williams. He may be one of the original Tint Masters, but I am the Texas Tint Masters, the one that everybody knows, and Lawrence is the one that nobody knows. So first of all, Lawrence, congratulations.
Hold on. Lawrence was in the top 3. No, the top 10. He was in the top 10 of the automotive competition. So I would question you saying nobody knows who he is. Just saying.
Who?
Lawrence Williams?
Who cares? It doesn't matter who we're talking about, because when it comes to the Texas Squeegee, there's room only for one person, and that is the most tintifying figure, and you're looking at him right here in a special edition of Tint Wizdom at 6 p.m. Central start time.
So are you going to compete or not?
This is a very interesting question for the Texas Squeegee, because to ask the Texas Squeegee that question is to say, Texas Squeegee, and the Texas Squeegee will say, will you be taking home the world titles? And of course, I would say, Absolutely, I would. Unfortunately, I need a partner, and I don't see why the Texas Squeegee needs a partner, because at the end of the day, ain't nobody, and the Texas Squeegee means nobody up to the level of the Texas Squeegee, the most terrifying figure to take home those titles. Now, I will say, Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran might have been the quiet ones who won Tinter Battles 2022, and the year before that was Robert the Torture Moreno, Julietta Boss Lady, and Mike Nord, the quiet ones who won it. But in 2023, all I know is that it will not be the quiet ones to take that one home, because if it is, there is no way that the Texas Squeegee is going to let anybody who is sitting back with their little wings tucked behind their back saying, I don't want to talk. We need a champion we can all be proud of. We need a champion that can represent us along and across a global stage. And you're looking at the next one potentially, if the competition is up to my worth, is worth spending my time on it.
Feels like it's Tinter Battle season again, Texas Squeegee season. The leaves have changed colors, and it's holy moly. So Texas Squeegee's back.
Well, Cody, what you call Tinter Battle season to the Texas Squeegee is called hunting season, because all I see is a bunch of prey, and this predator just entered the Tinter arena.
All right, so listen, I know that there are a lot of people out there that want a piece of the Texas Squeegee. I still don't know if he'll be competing at Tinter Battles 23, which is fine. We'll figure that out. I have a feeling we're not going to know at this moment. But Cody mentioned in the comments, and I feel like he's very trustworthy when it comes to this. He actually said that he would be willing to carry you through Tinter Battles 2023. If you wanted to compete with him, he could carry you through the competition. And I know for a fact that he has been on quite the weightlifting, powerlifting journey the last couple months, preparing for the Tinteractive segments of Tinter Battle. So I do think he probably could carry you if you wanted to take him up on that offer.
See, what Cody Becker doesn't know, that although he believes himself worthy of carrying the Texas Squeegee is carrying the entire industry on his back. So, Cody Becker, you may not know what you're putting on your back there, son, but if you want to carry the Texas Squeegee, I say you draw that line and you cross it. Okay,
Mr. Squeegee, I do want to address something. It looks like you're carrying Austin Cook on your back at the moment. Can you explain that?
This is... Right here, what you see is this incredible legend of a human being that he keeps some of the, per se, let's call it some tintifying rumors that he whispers over to my, hold on, what? Oh, yeah. So, I told him, like, no, he was the one that told me the wrong, bro. I told him 7 p.m. He said, like, whatever. Like, he's over here telling me we got to cue in this promo video or something. Hold on.
Okay. Should I cue the promo video to give you a moment with Austin? Squeegee? Do you want me to cue the promo video to give you a minute to get back together?
Yeah, you know what? Me and Mr. Austin Cook we got a little beef to settle, if you smell what I'm cooking.
Okay, so I'm gonna get the promo video queued up, let you and Austin duke it out. We'll be right back. Sorry, everyone. There was obviously a few mix-ups today, and let's get this video going, and then we'll see if the Squeegee is ready to continue.
With that Squeegee, when I see him, I'll make him swallow that big Squeegee when I see him.
The glass tinting, film slicking, tinter beating, hell-raising, trailblazing, most tint-defying figure, and all of Tintertainment today, the one, the tinted one, the Texas Squeegee.
You guys are going down.
He's ready to crank it out and bring the heat.
The 2021 Tinter Battles, the new champions.
Mike Robert and Boss Lady!
Let's get ready to battle!
We're both coming, and we're going to take everyone's soul. They're going to wish they didn't compete.
Yeah! The winners of Tinter Battles 2022, Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran from the Window!
defending our belts.
Yes. We are going to defend our belts.
We are going to defend our belts.
We're not going to slack. We're not going to train hard, but we're not going to slack. We're going to go in there and just do what we do.
Well, thank God we are joined by the reporting Squeegee. Maybe we can.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the Wiz 3 TV studios, here joining the special edition of Tint Wizdom Live, 6 p.m. Central, joining with Eric Vash. Everybody, I would just want to thank everybody for watching this promo and allowing me to come into this special edition of the Tint Wizdom podcast. Eric, how are you doing tonight?
Thank you for asking. I'm doing great. I'm a little more calm now. It was getting tense. We had the Texas Squeegee, and he was getting amped up, and I was trying to ask questions because there was some confusion on the show. And I'm just glad you're here because I want to get some answers to how people can compete at Tinter battles. That's essentially what everybody wants to know, I think, is how they can compete, if they can compete. Can past competitors compete? Is there going to be a voting? Is there going to be how is it going to happen? Can you answer those questions tonight?
Absolutely. So one of the most common questions that the reporting Squeegee was asked is, will there be a voting poll? And the answer is no, there will not be a voting poll. Consider yourself a one of a kind if you participated in 2022's selection process. However, Tinter Battles 2023 is slightly a little bit different. The way that the selection process is going to be determined is through a series of competitions happening the day before the Tinter Battles Championships. Everybody who is a finalist in any competition or any contest or any challenge will advance to the Tinter Battles Championships. That means you have to win your way in. There is no more vote. It does not depend on popularity. However, popularity is a result of competing at a Tinter Battles. You don't have to be popular going into it. You just got to know what you're doing, and you got to beat your way into it.
So what you just said, if I understood you correctly, is nobody's going to be picked to compete. And if you just go to Tinter Battles and you win one of the earlier competitions that will happen, then you get to compete at Tinter Battles and could potentially bring home the belt.
Slight tweak. If you are a finalist,
if you're a finalist
in any contest before it, it's the way in. So let's just rephrase that question. How do I enter the competition for Tinter Battles Championships? You got to be a finalist in one of the other competitions.
Okay, so how do you enter one of the other competitions?
It's very simple. So Tintertainment will be releasing the official registration forms where you can sign up. You can sign your team up online. However, you don't need anything extra. Your ticket to Tinter Battles is your entry, and it's as simple as that. Your entry for what? Everything. Everything Tinter Battles. All the food, the drinks, the entertainment, the competitions. As a spectator or as a competitor, the educational seminars that we're also going to be having on top of a few surprises we're going to be putting in there. Your Tinter Battles tickets includes everything except for your lodging. For your lodging, we strongly, and we cannot emphasize this any more than we're doing this right now, we strongly recommend that you book at the hotel, because this is an entire experience designed by Tintertainment from the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep. And the only way to truly experience it, everything, all in the way that it was intended, is to be at the resort and stay at the resort. You don't want to be trying to figure out logistics between Ubering in and out of the event, because you're going to be, it's not a whether you are going to be missing, is you are definitely going to be missing some very, very important special things. And some of those things we are going to cover, officially releasing the information right now.
Okay, so the way I understood what you're saying is you get a ticket, you book at the hotel, you show up. As long as you've expressed interest in being a part of these competitions, you can compete. If you're a finalist, you can compete in Tinter Battles, and there's no cost. There's no extra cost to compete. There's no nothing. You just get your ticket to the event, you book your room at the Omni, and the rest is covered. Food, entertainment, education, competition, everything.
Right. So as far as this day goes, there's really only two things that you need to do, really three, but two that pertain to Tinder battles and the resort. And the first one is you first need to register your tickets. Anybody under 18 will enter free, but anybody above 18 must buy their own tickets. So once you get your ticket, this is going to cover, as I mentioned before, all of your meals, your main meals, so you won't have to buy anything else. Most likely you're going to have more than enough food to eat at this thing. Not only that, it also includes your drinks, but again, access to everything Tinder battles. There is no upcharge for anything. If you want to attend a certain masterclass or certain trainings or enter a certain competitions, it's all included in your ticket. Again, your ticket is your entry. Say it again. Your ticket is your entry. One more time. Your ticket is your entry. Exactly.
And then you have to win your way in. Win your way in. That's how you compete, right?
To the Tinter Battles Championships for the world titles currently held by Chuck Cochran and Jamie Nance.
Like that. Very simple.
Shot a bang for everybody. Homage to Tinter Battles 2022.
Do you know if Texas Squeegee, did he set you up with that? Like, is he getting paid by these companies? Nobody even mentioned it before coming on here. And then it's just like a product placement, like nonstop.
Ever since this guy started getting all of his little, as Nipsey calls it, his tic-tac powers, this guy is just going around thinking he owns the world. And we just get free stuff showing up. And I don't usually work here, but I pulled up today to the Texas Tin Masters headquarters here in Houston, and I just see a bunch of drinks and whiz lips, and I don't know what's going on, like beer pong. Yep. I mean, these guys are they drunks? I don't know what they're playing, but it's insanity over here. So at Tinter Battles, we actually, I don't know if you know, but the Squeegee is doing like a collaboration with a makeup line for makeup, I guess. The Squeegee wears makeup, I guess. And because like they're doing makeup, they also did like lip balm. And it's just like, it's for anybody. It's lip balm. It's to keep your lips moist. But we actually had it at the booth. It's called Wiz Lips. And it's one of the Texas Squeegee's like product endorsements or placements or whatever it is, wherever he gets. Yeah. He goes on talking about how this somehow Wiz Lips filters out the negativity coming out from his mouth. But I don't think he's ever used one, because that's all I hear coming out of the Texas Squeegee's mouth, just a bunch of negativity, which, by the way, is cutting out the negativity. Homage to Johnny Blades. Will be part of the event at Tinter Battles 2023 with a special unique challenge that will be one of the qualifiers to the official Tinter Battles Championships.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Definitely sounds like fun. So now, starting with the content that we are having, this is on January 6th, by the way. Just to inform everybody, January 5th is the arrival day. This is the first time people are going to be arriving to the resort. There's not much that we have planned other than a welcoming reception banquet. However, the following day, the first full day, which is January the 6th, that day is the day where we are going to be hosting the challenges and competitions that'll determine the finalists for the Tinter Battles Championships. However, each competition, it's a own competition. They all double. We're talking about a competition where you're going to have a winner. You have your finalists and your winner. Your winner is going to win the entire thing for that specific competition. Your finalists are the ones that are going to move on the following day for the championship titles. Now, starting with the first one. Yeah.
So January 5th is the arrival day, and that's the day where you can come in the morning, you can come in the afternoon, you can come in the evening, and you spend the day maybe at the pool, at the beach. You could play around the golf. You could go into the secret room that I won't mention, unless you want to mention, that is going to be part of the event. The thing is, that's the day to get acquainted, and then, as I understand it, and enjoy the amenities. And then there's a welcome reception that evening. So it doesn't matter what time you arrive Thursday. That day is all about arrival, getting settled in, and getting a first kind of experience of the event, and those certain things that are there for the people to arrive first and experience.
Well, getting the first experience of the venue itself, because the venue itself it's not just a place that's going to host Tinter Battles. If you strip Tinter Battles away from the Omni Resort at Amelia Island, that place is magical all on its own. Once you get there, it's not just a resort. You have the beach right behind it. And that venue is also located with a ton of acreage property around it, where you can go and do hikes and get to see the nature and the wildlife around that specific park. So the first arrival day is your day to settle in and get familiar with the venue, because the venue itself is a paradise in its own. And then you throw tinter battles on top of that, and then you have the getaway of a lifetime.
It sounds like a tinner's paradise.
It absolutely does. So the first full official day, now we're going to start with the contest, the competitions alone, before we go into any of the other segments. The first contest we were having that day is the Heat Shrink Battle Tournament. Now, this is one that was a highly, highly popular competition in Tinter Battles 2022. It's making a return. However, it's making a return with a twist, because it's going to start off as a team's competition in order to determine the finalist from that contest that's going to move on to the Tinter Battles Championships. Now, the contest will start with teams competing in a team versus teams competition round setup. Your winning team will advance, the losing team gets eliminated, and we're going to start to minimize to the finalists, and then the finalists are going to have a face-off to determine the final Heat Shrink Battle champion for 2023, which last year was Tinter Battles 2022. It was Marco Cazorla who won that one.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. Did that make sense?
Yeah, so that's going to be one of the ways you can not only leave a champion, but also as a finalist, you could end up competing in Tinter Battles is through the Heat Shrink competition.
Absolutely. All you have to do, if you want to get into the main competition through the Heat Shrink Battle, just be a finalist and you're good. The next morning, you are moving on. And then, so that makes sense. That's the Heat Shrink Battles. Now, we have a new innovative contest called the Tinter Trivia Battles that we are debuting at Tinter Battles 2023 in Amelia Island on January 5th through the 8th. Now, to explain it is very simple. Unlike the Heat Shrink Battle contest, where a participant is tested on the window tinting skill, this new innovative Tinteractive game show is designed to test window tinting knowledge. 4 teams representing 4 Facebook groups with 5 participants in each team will battle it out for the window film industry's first Tintelligence Award. Squeegee that.
So Tinter Trivia?
A Tinter Trivia Battles. Now this is how it's gonna work out. It's 4 teams representing 4 different Facebook groups of 5 people in each group for a total of 20 participants. It is a Tinter Trivia based on window tinting knowledge, simple questions that each team member will have to answer. Now, this was partly inspired by Family Feuds. However, it's comes with a little bit of some alterations, adapted to the window tinting industry in a fun, interactive way. Now, one of the things I'm really excited about this one is that we're taking information and making it entertainment. So not only will the participant be able to learn, the audience will be able to learn as well in a way that's going to be memorable, so that when you go back on the field and you're talking to your customers, you know your stuff to make more money.
I like it. So Tintelligence Award, Tinter Trivia, and that will be a way that you can be nominated to compete, the winning teams.
Well, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's 4 teams.
Right.
The finalists are going to be 2 teams. Now,
right.
Here's a twist. This is a challenge that tests window tinting knowledge. You don't have to be a tinter to compete in this one. However, the finalist teams from these 2 groups will be allowed to select a team of 2 tinters that they can advance to represent them at the Tinter Battles Championships.
Okay, so there will
Does that make sense?
There will be 4 teams playing. Each team will represent a Facebook group. Each team will consist of 5 people. And when the top 2 teams will separately nominate a team to compete in the Tinter Battles.
Exactly. So let's just pretend here that we are doing Tintertainment Group, and Tintertainment Group is one of the finalist teams. Well, the captain of that group will be allowed to select any tinter, any team that's at the event to represent that group at the Tinter Battles Championships, competing for the titles against Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran for Tinter Battles 2023.
Wow. So this really is going to test intelligence, and it brings another dynamic to like competition, because, you know, the team that ends up winning could be either part of the winning team of the trivia game or nominated by a trivia team And either way, that's a definitely interesting aspect. And I could see people trying to brush up on their tinter knowledge ahead of time to make sure they're ready, right?
Well, the interesting dynamic that I anticipate and look forward to seeing is some of these teams that are going to be finalists for the Tinter Trivia are going to get there through brains and knowledge of the window tinting. However, I mean, they got there by being smart in their decision-making. Whether that smart decision-making will carry into the teams that they choose to represent, that's one of the interesting dynamics that many in attendance and all the people, the thousands of people watching across social media will be able to witness and be entertained by.
I feel like I'm remembering a tinter encyclopedia the Squeegee had in one of his promo videos that it's some sort of tinter encyclopedia. I wonder if that's where the questions are going to come from. So if anybody is thinking about competing in this, you might want to track down a tinter encyclopedia, because I would imagine that would be where the questions might come from.
Well, I do want to make something clear, Mr. Devash, here on your show. The questions are not going to relate to window tinting skill. For example, we're not going to be asking, you know, what's the proper PPF slip solution? That's not those kinds of questions. We're not asking window tinting technical questions. We're asking window film information questions. Things such as, what do certain acronyms mean? What is the relations between this and that film, or something like that, but not necessarily what's it like. For example, you're not going to run into the question, tell me the difference between two-stage and bottom loading. That's not a question that's going to be at the Tinter Trivia. This is a question based on information, on window film information, not tinting skill knowledge.
Are there any other examples of things you can tell people to give them a little edge on possibly winning?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You just said what question that's not going to be asked. I was just trying to see what other questions you know. Maybe I can get you to spill the beans. Shout out, Liz.
That's as much as I can say. I just want to say, like, if anybody's got any questions about that, but for sure, look, each group is going to have a team captain that's going to be responsible for selecting their teams. And once that gets done, I just want to make sure that Tint Entertainment officially puts a position out there. This is not going to be a window tinting skill-based contest. This is a window tinting information-based contest. Being the best tinter in the world is not going to give you an advantage in this contest. You have to know your stuff.
Okay. I like that. What else can you tell? Go ahead.
It's the first intelligence award. And then it's a first intelligence award. Again, it's 5 members representing 4 Facebook groups. Each group is going to have 5 members in it, and it's going to be similar style to Family Feuds, except it's adapted to window tinting industry for Tinter Battles 2023.
When do we get to find out which groups are competing, and when do we find out who's going to be in those groups, and how does that all happen?
That information will be released, but we are projecting that this is going to be somewhere around mid-October, where we are going to be releasing the official groups. This is just first announcement, breaking news here on Tint Wizdom special edition, that we are announcing a official Tinter Trivia Battles competition contest for a tinter's intelligence, not necessarily a tinter, but a window tinting intelligence. Now, what's going to be a very interesting dynamic is I can only assume that some captains are going to be fighting for the same people to represent their team. So how that's going to play itself out would be a story that's going to be developing, and the reporting squeegee will be there to bring the latest and greatest news of this new developing contest that's going to be debuting at Tinter Battles 2023 in Amelia Island on January 5th through the 8th.
All right. Cody Becker has expressed definite interest in competing, and Nipsey says he won't be able to make it on the 6th, but he'll be there on the 7th. So he's not going to be able to possibly compete. And
now, was this commented after the Texas Squeegee said he might enter the Heat Shrink Battle tournament?
Yeah, well, it was directly after. So I see where you're going.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Billy Ellis, badass Billy Ellis. We all know him as a Tinter Battles 2021 legend.
And second place runner-up in Tinter Battles 2021 competition with his partner, Sean, the Ultimate Tint Warrior.
Yeah. Dave Dillinger says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm drafting Rob Oranges and David Kratz. So that's definitely a powerhouse. of a team for Tintelligence.
You know, this is one of the things that we were particularly excited for on behalf of the authority of the Tinter Battles competition is the possible emergence of names in the industry that might not be as known in the changing landscape, in the evolution of the window film industry, because a lot of the people that possess the knowledge are not necessarily people that are very active on social media. And this is a way that we feel we might see names that we've never heard of that are going to truly make a splash and a memorable connection at Tinter Battles 2023, because it's again, as I mentioned before, it's not a contest based on window tinting skills. It's based on window tinting knowledge up here.
Is there anything else you wanted to run through? I got to say real quick, when we finish the show, don't disconnect. I want to get your contact information because I might as well just contact you directly for information about and future live streams, because the other, trying to go through the squeegee is kind of a shit show.
Well, you know, like the squeegee with this Texas Squeegee, you get what you see is what you get. And somehow,
you just got a big head is all I'm saying. And if that big head would transfer over to Tintelligence, then I would want him on a team if I could pick a team. But if it just, transfers into Wiz Lips, I don't know. Now, do you know anything about David Carley there? He's saying he's going to be there doing something interesting.
Give me just a second. Let me check my Tinteractive notes.
I feel like David Carley, that's a little vague. I'm going to be there doing something. It's not even Tinteresting. It's just interesting. You got to tell us what it is.
Well, David Carley's always been there. He's been there since day number one. He was one of the competitors for Tinter Battles 2021. He was one of the official judges of Tinter Battles 2022. And it is my pleasure to officially announce David Carley returning back as an official Battles judges. Now, I do want to shed some light on something right here. So, David Carley, congratulations. Now, I do want to shed a little bit of light here. One of the ways that we are also tweaking the judging at Tinter Battles 2023 is the judges are going to be allowed to be watching the competition. Now, however, the official judges will not be the only judges on site. Yes, you heard that right. Your ticket is your entry. Your ticket is your entry to watch the battles. Here's what's going to happen. There's going to be 3 judges. Each judge is going to have their own unique color that they are judging the vehicles. Once the judging has finished, the audience and the attendee, a spectator, will be allowed to enter the arena to judge the judging. And spectators are going to pick up their own replica judging scorecard, and everybody will be able to judge their own version of Tinter Battles. Now, I will say, whatever the audience says will have no bearing outcome on the official scorecard of the judges. However, you can voice your opinion, and perhaps you may be a future Tinter Battles judge.
I like that sort of transparency, because what you're saying is, after a winner has been picked and the second place and the third place has been picked, you'll be able to actually see what that specific judge and the different judges pointed out on a window, and you'll be able to make your own evaluation. Were things missed? Were the judges over picky or whatnot? So you're judging the judges. I like that.
Absolutely. You're judging the judges. And all it is, it's missing you, the spectators, to be at the event to hold the judges accountable. Do you agree with the decision scorecard? Do you not agree? Pick up a card, pick up a pen, go and have at it, and come up with your own feedback for the official judges of Tinter Battles 2023 on January 5th through the 8th in Amelia Island, Florida at the Omni Resort.
Wow. That is definitely putting, a judge's integrity on the line, because if they were to maybe go easy on a window because, of who was doing it, which I would never assume a judge at Tinter Battles would do. But if that was the suspicion, it would be plain as day with their signature on the window, because it's a unique color.
Absolutely. Look, if the reporting squeegee was judging this fine competition, I would not want to judge in a way that the spectator was going to come back and judge my judging as a poor judge. The reporting squeegee cannot have that kind of accolade on my collection of accomplishments.
Okay,
So-
and then past Tinter Battles legends, they can compete, right? Potentially?
Absolutely. Anybody who competed in the previous competition will be allowed to come back to compete. Now, you can come back as your original team. You can come back as an entirely new team. Now, teams, I just want to put this out there. Once we release the registration form to sign up your team, you can have a team representing a country. You can have a team representing a film brand, a supplier brand, a tools company, or you can have a team completely named independently. Everything is totally up to you. The one thing I will say is, when you compete at a Tinter Battles, you will get known. So what I've got to say is, when you go to Tinter Battles, take an extra luggage, because you're going to come back with a bunch of giveaways and possibly the World Championship titles on behalf of Tintertainment.
There is 99 days until Tinter Battles.
99 days on the road to Tinter Battles.
I can't wait. 99 days. It's going to come real quick, real quick.
You know, I will say this, there is one of the, in my opinion, my unbiased opinion, one of the beautiful aspects of Tinter Battles 2023, and one of the true highlights of it, is that it is strategically positioned at the beginning of 2023, because at the core of this experience that Tintertainment has prepared for the attendees is the human element of the individual tinter, of the individual person. And one of the features of Tinter Battles is one of the segments of Tinter Battles is this special human recharge station known as the Zen Room, which is going to include a lot of very Tintuitive, what's the word that the reporting squeegee seems to be spacing out on, but experiences that gets you in touch with your inner self, and you have a strong inside, and it's going to culminate itself into your outside. One of the most important things that is overlooked at a lot is the proper habits for success. So at Tinter Battles, once we release the official schedule, which will be very soon, within the next couple of days, when we release the official schedule, in a way, it's going to be the habits of the successful individual to get people into that mindset, so that 2023 will be the biggest year that you have ever had.
I have no doubt that it will be for everybody.
So this is human recharging station, which is basically like, it's just a way to get in touch with yourself at the beginning of one of the Tinters getaway of a lifetime, at the beginning of the year, to start you off and send you back home completely changed for the better, completely evolved for the better.
Window Tinters evolution. So a couple questions in the comments. Are all the judges picked yet?
The judges, what was
Have
that?
they all been selected?
That information has not been released. We have only released a main judge as of this moment. We will be releasing further information as it becomes known and as it becomes solidified. However, we didn't want to, look, we have a certain amount of time and we have a certain amount of bandwidth. We didn't want to just drop everything and possibly crash the Tinternet. We have to release things in a way where we can keep the integrity of these live streams, because otherwise this Tinternet will break if we announce everything that we have lined up for Tinter Battles 2023 in Amelia Island on January 5th through the 8th.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. How many teams will be competing? Did Bang pay you to do this? Just, are you doing that because you're thirsty, or you're drinking? Like, how many things are you going to drink on one episode? I just feel like this is not like authentic, but it feels like it's a promo for Bang. But how many teams are going to be competing at Tinter Battles?
They'll see, but we are going to be having minimum of 10 teams competing at the Tinter Battles Championships. And look, Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran, I saw them in that promo. Fantastic promo, by the way. I think one of the more tintifying promos I've ever seen. However, Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran were in that promo, and they said that they will not train too hard, but they're going to go in to do what they got to do. Now, I don't know if that was just a ploy to make people feel like they got to keep their guard down. But all I got to say to the Wizards is that you guys have serious, stiff competition going for those world titles, because to compete at a Tinter Battles, not only do you have to be exceptionally well, you have to be adaptable, you have to be versatile, because at Tinter Battles Championships, you have to perform at your best in the middle of one of the most distractive, one of the loudest, one of the most high energy environments that you'll ever be tinting in. And to compete at that level in that type of environment is true professionalism and is true master of that skill set, which Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran very much well showed. You know, one of the, I had the pleasure of and the honor of being one of the commentators for Tinter Battles 2022. And we were positioned next to the Texas Tint Masters teams of Johnny Blades and Crypto Pete. They had a mariachi playing throughout the entire segment, and right across from them was Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran. Now, it was my pleasure and an honor and experience of a lifetime for me to witness these professionals, because despite the distractions that many other teams seem to have been distracted by, Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran were very steady, calm nerves, head forward, and just did their magic. The only thing that I saw that was different was Jimmy Nance had this special kiss, which was dubbed Jimmy's Kiss at Tinter Battles 2022 in Orlando, Florida. Mm-hmm. Jimmy was going around kissing windows. Kissing windows.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that.
I'm not sure whether that was an actual help in him winning. However, he did come out the winner. Whether he's going to come back for Tinter Battles 2023 and yet again display the legendary Jimmy's Kiss to get him over the hurdle, I'm not sure. But what I will say this, the competition for 2023 is much, much stiffer, given that they all have to battle their way into the main battles.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's some good information. And at least now we know how people will be competing at Tinter Battles.
Absolutely. We have a few special announcement dates. We will be coming out with that officially on the Tintertainment Network page. You can follow that on Facebook. Just search Tintertainment Network. You can also follow the official group, Tintertainment Group, on Facebook, and the public version, the Window Tint Entertainment, as well. Now, Tintertainment.com has all of the information for Tinter Battles 2023. We've made it very, very simple to join. Once you go on Tintertainment.com, on the menu, you'll find the page for Tinter Battles 2023 event. You can click on that. That's going to take you to the official link to buy your ticket. And then you will also have a link that takes you directly to the page to book your rooms. Once you do those two things, you are set. Very, very simple. Straightforward, simple, simplicity, everything. Tinter Battles 2023, January 5th through the 8th.
99 days to go.
Absolutely. 99 days to go till the getaway of a lifetime.
Should we that's what I mean, though. You can't beat that many. I mean, I like that one because it's purple, so like that's the one you should have been drinking the whole time. But the fact that you opened 3 drinks makes me feel like you're being wasteful. Whatever. Should we play the promo one more time and then wrap this up, or?
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and give that one more play. And I want you guys to pay attention to the logos that were on display, because the logos are, this is going into Tinter Battles 2023. There's, as a fact-defying reporter of this industry, it'll be my great pleasure to go up to the event and be a part of this 3-day window tinting extravaganza, the getaway of a lifetime, combining the best in tinters and entertainment. This 3-day event will host a series of unique competitions, entertaining segments, educational seminars in a world-class resort with world-class cuisine included in your ticket. Cue the promo.
Cue the promo. Okay, everyone. Thanks for watching. We coming back after this?
For some closing arguments, Chef.
All right, let's do it. Promo, then we'll be back. Closing arguments.
With that squeegee when I see him, I'll make him swallow that big squeegee when I see him.
The glass tinting, film slicking, tinter bidding, hell-raising, trailblazing, most tint-defying figure, and all of Tintertainment today, the one, the tinted one, the Texas Squeegee.
You guys are going down.
The 2021 Tinter Battles, the new champions.
Mike, Robert, and Boss Lady!
Let's get ready to battle! We're both coming, and we're going to take everyone's soul. They're going to wish they didn't compete.
Yeah, the winners of Tinter Battles 2022, Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran from the Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're defending our belts.
Yes. We are going to defend our belts.
We are going to defend our belts.
We're not going to slack. We're not going to train hard, but we're not going to slack. We're going to go in there and just do what we do.
Let's go. 99 days.
99 days till Tinter Battles 2023 in Amelia Island on January 5th through the 8th, the getaway of a lifetime. Now, I would like to emphasize one thing about Tinter Battles Championships competition. The rules are very simple. The judging is based on the result, not the process. The reason why it is designed this way is because this is a competition that welcomes all styles and all methods, whether you are a two-stager, whether you are a bottom loader, a torch shrinker, or your preferred method of heat shrinking is a heat gun. Whatever your style is accepted at Tinter Battles 2023 because we want your best at this competition. We want to put Tinter's best against Tinter's best. What is this long-going debate battle of what's better, two-staging or bottom loading? At Tinter Battles 2023, you will see the clash of styles. You will see the clash of methods, and you will see which team is going to take home the title. Will it be and still Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran, or will it be and new Tinter Battles champion? We will see at Tinter Battles 2023 in Amelia Island, Florida, January 5th through the 8th. Book your tickets today at tintertainment.com.
Book your ticket, book your room. See you then. It's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and 99 days to go. Absolutely can't wait.
Once-in-a-lifetime experience for those attending and for those watching back home, the thousands and thousands watching back home. We will also be having live streams on our social media pages. So if you're watching back home, you can also tune in. However, it is not like this experience whenever you show up to Tinter Battles and witness it yourself. The magic of Tinter Battles is here in January 5th through the 8th. And for everybody else que hablan español, voy a estar en un live con Rafa para presentarles las batallas de Tinter Battles 2023 y cómo entrar en la competencia. Muchas gracias a todos y por el apoyo de todas las personas que van a entrar de Latinoamérica. Ese es el Squeegee Tejano, el Squeegee Reportero, aquí en el Tint Wizdom episodio especial. Muchas gracias. Squeegee that, everybody.
Adios, mi familia. Good night. Buenas noches.